You want more discipline, more progress, a better life. But if you're honest, you've been here before. You start strong, you feel motivated. You tell yourself, this time it's different. And for a moment, it actually is. You show up, you make progress, you get closer, and then you disappear. No big failure, no clear reason, just silence. You delay, you distract yourself. You tell yourself you'll get back to it tomorrow, but you don't. Because deep down, this isn't new. You've done this before. You get close, and then you stop. You build momentum, and then you kill it. Quietly, consistently, almost perfectly. So here's the uncomfortable question. What if you're not stuck because you lack discipline, but because a part of you doesn't actually want you to succeed? Not consciously, but underneath the surface, consistently, quietly, almost perfectly. Self-sabotage doesn't look the way you think. It's not obvious failure. It's not self-destruction. It's much more subtle than that. It looks like delay, like hesitation that feels reasonable, like overthinking that feels productive, like waiting for the right moment. That never comes. You tell yourself you'll start tomorrow, or next week, or when you feel ready, but you've said that before. And if you look back, you'll notice something uncomfortable. You don't have a motivation problem. You have a follow-through problem. You start, but you don't sustain, and over time, that gap becomes your identity. You become someone who plans, but doesn't execute, who understands, but doesn't act. Not because you're incapable, but because something inside you keeps interrupting the process. Most people call this laziness. It's not. Self-sabotage is not a lack of discipline, it's protection. Your mind is trying to keep you safe. Safe from failure, safe from judgment, safe from change. Even if that safety is exactly what keeps you stuck. Your brain is not built for growth, it's built for survival. And survival prefers what's familiar, because familiar feels predictable, and predictable feels safe. So when you try to change your life, you're not just building new habits, you're threatening everything your brain has learned to rely on. And it pushes back, not loudly, quietly. You suddenly feel tired when it's time to work. You convince yourself you need more preparation. You start questioning the goal itself. Each thought seems harmless, but together, they create friction, and that friction is just strong enough to stop you. This gets worse if you're intelligent, because now you don't just avoid action, you justify it. You build clean, logical explanations for not doing what you said you would do. You call it thinking it through. You call it optimizing. But in reality, you're just delaying discomfort. And the most dangerous part is, it feels right, because it comes from your own mind. Think about the last time you avoided something important. Not something small, something that actually mattered. A decision, a project, a conversation. You didn't say, I'm sabotaging myself. You said, I'll do it later. I need more clarity. I'm not ready yet. And in that moment, it felt justified. But if you zoom out, it's the same pattern. Again and again and again. Later never really comes. Self-sabotage lives in the gap between intention and action. You know what to do, but you don't do it. And over time, that gap becomes who you think you are. Inconsistent, undisciplined, unreliable. Not because that's your nature, but because that's your pattern. Identity is where this becomes dangerous. Because once you believe this is just who I am, you stop resisting it. You expect inconsistency, so you act accordingly, even without realizing it. That's why information doesn't fix this. You can learn more, read more, understand more, and still stay stuck, because knowledge doesn't override identity, only action does. There's also something deeper, something quieter, fear, not obvious fear, subtle resistance, because success changes things. It raises expectations. It puts pressure on you. It exposes you. And part of you would rather stay where you are than step into something uncertain, even if that something is better. So the cycle continues. You start, you hesitate, you stop, you reset, and every time you reinforce the same belief. I just can't stay consistent. But that belief is not the cause, it's the result. If nothing changes, this doesn't stay small, it compounds. Weeks turn into months, months turn into years, and eventually you notice the gap between what you could have been and what you became. That gap turns into frustration, then regret, not because you didn't know what to do, but because you didn't follow through. Self-sabotage doesn't destroy your life all at once. It does it quietly, through small decisions that seem harmless in the moment. Until one day, you realize how much time you've lost. But this pattern is not permanent. It's learned, which means it can be unlearned. It starts with awareness, real awareness, not after the fact. In the moment, when you feel the urge to delay, pause. Don't react immediately. Just notice it and ask yourself, what am I actually avoiding right now? Most of the time, it's not the task, it's the feeling behind it. Discomfort, uncertainty, fear. That's the real resistance. Once you see that clearly, everything changes. Because now, it's not about discipline anymore, it's about tolerance. Can you sit with discomfort long enough to act anyway? Next, you close the gap between thinking and doing. Not with big changes, with speed. When you decide to act, move before your mind starts negotiating, because the longer you wait, the stronger the resistance becomes. Then you rebuild your identity, not by telling yourself who you are, but by proving it. Small actions, kept promises, consistent follow-through. Every time you act despite resistance, you shift your self-image. You become someone who executes. You don't need a complete transformation. You need fewer broken promises. And one more thing, this will never feel easy. Discomfort doesn't disappear. You just stop obeying it. People who look disciplined aren't free from resistance. They've just learned not to listen to it. So the next time you feel that pull to delay, to distract, to push something to later, pay attention. That's not weakness. That's the moment that decides everything. Because self-sabotage is not about failure, it's about avoidance. And the moment you stop avoiding, you stop holding yourself back. And everything starts to shift. Slowly, at first. Then faster than you expect. Until one day, you don't recognize the version of yourself that used to quit. And for the first time, you follow through.